to open Momo account, set your PIN, transfer money from your bank account inside your Momo account to make you fit dey pay for anything, send and receive money sharp because life dey simple with Momo. You go jollificate 15% bonus anytime you recharge with Momo.
Splash FM 105.5.
Time to talk about sports.
Let's talk sports. On Sportsbet. Only on Splash. 105.5 FM.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know what that sound means,
That's
right?
the intro.
Yes, blessing is here.
The Thursday intro.
And it's Thursday morning. Good morning,
Good morning,
Blessing.
Chacha. Good morning to the city of Ibadan.
You
Super
look
Thursday.
happy. I like seeing you happy. Have I told you that before?
It's the first time
I
hearing
like
that.
to see you happy.
When we are not seeing Shege, we have to be happy.
You know, we hope that it continues. We hope that it continues.
Yes,
Just smile,
we hope, yes.
you know. May it last long.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So let's. I was hoping you would provide some insight into this news headline I saw of Sir Alex Ferguson, and
Yes.
Arsene
Wenger, yes.
being inducted into
the Premier League Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and there's a lot of noise about this. What's that about?
Of course, there has to be noise about it. I mean, those both of them are two of the greatest managers to ever grace the Premier League. Their impacts in the Premier League, not just for the respective clubs that they coached. I mean, it's just out there for everyone to see.
What is the Premier League Hall of Fame, though? Is this new? Has it been existing?
Yes, it started very recently. I think
Okay.
maybe just last year or about 2 years ago, thereabout. That's when it started.
Okay.
It's the Premier League came up with the idea of having a Hall of Fame where it's just like you're inducting people who have
the best of the best.
People who made their marks while they were playing, who had significant contributions to the Premier League, and that's what they do. The basketball does something like that. They have the NBA Hall of Fame, Naismith Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact, and then they induct players who were able to distinguish themselves. Managers who did their, were heads and shoulders above others, induct them into. That's what the Premier League as well is doing, and they just started it recently, maybe like a year ago.
And these two are the first.
No, they're not the first.
not.
They've inducted players, certain players, and like I was saying on Just Boys Day, I am shocked, genuinely shocked that they weren't the first names on the induction list because.
Are they the first managers, though?
First managers, yes.
Okay.
For Arsene Wenger has been credited with redefining football in England. When he came on board, he came up with a new set of rules like you can't take fizzy drinks, you can't eat junks, you have to be very, very mindful of the things you eat. Even before sports nutrition became a thing, it was something he had started, he had imbibed into his code. In fact, I was in an interview of him yesterday where he said, on the team bus going to games, the players would be whining and asking that they wanted their chocolate bars back because he had banned all of that from their menu. And then gradually they began to see the advantage of doing that. And there's also not telling how he went an entire season without a defeat in the Premier League. And in fact, it was rewarded with a gold trophy. His Arsenal team also were the only ones who scored in every single game of the league campaign. Now, that's a separate year, but that is the
antecedents, yeah.
Exactly what he brought to the team. And then for Sir Alex Ferguson, I mean, you cannot say it enough about how that man is Manchester United. I mean, he was the image of Manchester United.
Yeah.
And when he was going to retire, he retired with a Premier League trophy. I mean, these two men are perhaps the standard for management right there in the Premier League. So it is not surprising that they were inducted into the Hall of Fame yesterday. For me, they should have been the first names before any other player comes on board.
Well, it's better late than never,
Better
isn't
late
it?
than never, actually. But I mean, of course, everyone's going to continue to celebrate that. It's such an achievement.
Okay, because I mean, there was a lot of flurry on it. I was listening to a conversation and the excitement with which
I mean, I'll be so
about
surprised if people weren't going on and on about it and, talking about the influence that these men had. I mean, their influence transcends their clubs. It went beyond to the Premier League and even outside of the Premier League, in the world of sports generally. Arsene Wenger right now has taken up a very important role with FIFA. I mean, amongst those who are making the policies. Of course, we may not agree with some of his policies that he's coming up with, but you could tell that this man lives, breathes, eats football. And of course, he says, he loves Arsenal so much.
Yeah, congratulations are in order to them then. Let's talk about our boyfriend. All the Nigerian girls have a crush on him. We have time to talk about him, right?
I'll be surprised if there's no Nigerian who doesn't have a crush on this man, Anthony Joshua. Yes. Joshua is back in the ring this weekend.
Okay, we have to go and meet our juju or our pastor, whatever we need to do. He has to win this one.
And it feels a lot like he's doubting himself. I say that because I look at this press conference and then he says something like, if I fail to win this game, then I have to think about retirement. Ordinarily, I think I would agree with him. If he doesn't win this fight, he has to start thinking about retirement. Because when he was going to fight Usyk, I remember telling today then that he has everything to lose.
But what are the chances that he doesn't win this fight?
It's very possible. You can't say never. But I think it's about a mental battle for him. Okay. How he's able to bounce back. He was visibly beaten mentally after that fight to Usyk. So we'll be left to see for us how he's able to fight back mentally and then physically in the ring this weekend.
We're going to do night vigil. Everything it takes. Anthony Joshua, don't worry.
I never do vigil finish on top of my life.
Got it. Don't be that person, blessing. Have a good show.
hear you. Thank you very much, Chacha. Welcome to Sports Bank. The Super Thursday morning right here. You're taking to dial Splash 105.5 FM. Blessing Fowowe here on duty. We're live on Facebook. You can join us on Facebook. Perhaps any of the things we've said this morning has piqued your interest. How about you go on Facebook and let's get talking there. Join our discussion today on the show. Okay, lots and lots to discuss today. Lots to talk about, particularly from the world of football. The NPFL, we had games played yesterday. Shooting Stars, wow, they labored to a victory. We'll talk about that today. Also, we'll be taking news from tennis as well. Miami Open is still going on. And I'll be starting from basketball this morning. The Dallas Mavericks continue to hover just outside of the playing sports, and with their chances of gaining an automatic entry into the playoffs more than good with that insipid display that they showed against the 76ers. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving combined for 47 points, but then their real issues came on the defensive end with James Harden orchestrating plays and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid getting to their desired spot for Philadelphia. The Mavericks did stay in the game for most of the first 3 quarters, but they ran out of gas in the fourth quarter, continuing a theme that has been present over the recent weeks. Now they are out of playing contention. The next couple of games is a must-win for them, and also hoping that the other results go their way if they are to have a chance to get back into play-in, and not to talk about playoffs. And one of the most surprising teams for me, I've been saying it for days now, Sacramento Kings, earlier this morning, they punched their tickets into the playoff for the first time in 17 years, and they have a bit of thanks to go to the man Mike Brown, who took over at the start of the season and practically has made them into a team to beat. And currently they are seated third in the Western Conference. And of course, now whatever happens at the end of the day, it is certain that they will be in the playoffs this year, as they recorded a 120-80 point victory over the Portland Trail Blazers. That was a 40-point blowout, and what a game it was there, blowing Portland away on their home court there. And to other results, the Suns defeated Timberwolves 107-100. These two sides are also trying, they are fighting to ensure their playoff spot. Timberwolves are currently in the play-in position. This defeat definitely deals them some sort of blows. And the Lakers also strengthened their grab or their hold on the play-in spot with a 121-110 victory over the Chicago Bulls. And the Clippers, off of the back of Russell Westbrook performance, came up tops over the Memphis Grizzlies 141-132. Moving on from the NBA this morning, straight into tennis, we go talk about the Miami Open, where Yannick Sinner had an easy win in his quarterfinal match, defeating Emil Rossoveri 6-3, 6-1 to reach back-to-back Miami semi-finals. The young Italian's magnificent backhand sealed the win in the first set after a lengthy rain delay that stopped play, with Sinner leading 2-0 in the second set. And the match resumed, and a series of brilliant plays ensured, and eventually he soared into the last four. Up next for him will be a tie against either of Carlos Alcaraz and Taylor Fritz. It gets difficult when you get to this stage of the competition. And in perhaps the biggest upset in the WTA circuit at the Miami Open, 32-year-old Sorana Cristea stunned world number 2 Aina Sabalenka 6-4, 6-4 to reach the Miami semi-finals for the first time in her career. It's the biggest win of Cristea's career, first WTA 1000 semi-final in almost 10 years, and she is just the third player to beat the Australian Open champion. And Bianca Andreescu has confirmed that the results show that she has torn 2 ligaments in her left ankle and will be out of tennis action for an unknown period. She took to her Twitter page to give an update on the injury, saying that with the right work, rehab and preparation, she will be seeing the court very, very soon. I wish her all the best as she tries to recover from that injury. And earlier on, I told you about Anthony Joshua, who will be in the ring again this weekend against Jermaine Franklin. And the Briton is saying this is the worst time to fight. Anthony Joshua says it is the worst time to fight Jermaine Franklin. And then he also described the current heavyweight landscape as a shambles. And he'll be facing Jermaine Franklin at the London O2's Arena on Saturday. And he's been out of the ring since they lost their rematch with unified champion Alexander Usyk in August. And speaking at the press conference yesterday, he says he's so happy to be fighting again. And he's just so happy to be back and can get back to work and get on with his job. And in his words, when you're trying to compete, all the mandatories and negotiations, I just can't believe no fights have been made at the championship level. I'm just so happy I can get back to work and get on with my job. He was speaking there about the deal that fell through between Usyk and Tyson Fury. But for us, all eye will be on Joshua and what he tends to do or what he is planning to do against Jermaine Franklin on Saturday. And I kind of agree with him. If he fails to win this match, perhaps he should start considering retirement because, I mean, what else will be left for him to fight for? And he has his pride on the line in this game as far as I'm concerned. But then he said his promoter at the end is dangling a carrot of bigger fights if he eventually gets to win over Jermaine Franklin. All right, let's move on straight into football discussions now before we take a quick commercial break on the show. The MPFL Matchday 11 roundup games, the results from the Matchday 11 games didn't alter the leadership status in both groups, but it was Remo Stars, Abia Warriors, and Niger Tornadoes that made significant leaps on the log. And the fixture, the Matchday 11 midweek fixtures produced 21 goals from 9 games played yesterday. We had a clash of leaders in Group A, Bendel Insurance and Aqua United. They failed to produce a winner. It ended 1-1, and the Bendel Insurance ensured that they continued their unbeaten run and also moved closer to securing a championship playoff spot. And Remo Stars went away from home, defeated El Kanemi Warriors 2-1, and that meant that they were able to displace Aqua United in second position on the log there, thanks to that away victory. In Aba, former champions Enyimba recorded a second draw on the trot and missed a chance to get back into the playoff spot after being held by Nasarawa United 1-1. And I saw videos of a penalty that should have gone to Enyimba in that game, but somehow the referee didn't call it. Perhaps I can't wait to the IMC would have something to say about the performance of the referee, because the referee had a very good look to that incident. Videos about that is also trending on social media there. And the season's leading scorer Chukwuemeka Obioma converted a penalty in the 15th minute to give the MPFL record winners the lead, but Solid Miners equalized in the 75th minute to secure what was a vital point in its fight to avoid relegation. And Nasarawa United remain 9th in the Group A, 4 points from safety, while Enyimba now down to 4th, 1 point off the playoff spot. And Shooting Stars right here in Ibadan, they are up to 6th on the table after coming from a goal down to beat former champions Plateau United 3-2. At Shooting Stars, they had to struggle, they labored to eventually win that one. 11 goals between these two sides this season. First leg ended 3-0, and the second leg 3-2. That's a game that produced high returns this season. And in the Savannah city of Gombe, Anayo Ogbonna scored the only goal in the 39 minutes for the host Gombe United to defeat Kwara United to move to 6th on the log. In Group B, Abia Warriors completed the double over Enugu Rangers after a 2-1 win in the Oriental Derby. Abia Warriors remained 3rd on the spot on the log, 1 point behind Lobby Stars and Rivers United, who were not in action there. And Sunshine Stars missed a great chance to move into the playoff spot after being held 1-1 by Doma United right there in Akure. Niger Tornadoes are now up to 4th after a 2-0 victory over Wiki Tourists. And in Group B, finally in Group B, we had Bayelsa United move out of relegation zone after a 1-1 draw with Dakada right there in Uyo. That's a roundup of Match Day 11 fixtures in the MPFL. A very quick commercial break. We'll return to continue with our discussion on Sports Bank this morning. Keep it locked.
Fi ẹsẹ̀ lásán rìn lórí ìkoríko lójoojúmọ́ dára fún ọ. Torí pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀dá èèyàn, ó ṣe pàtàkì fún wa láti súnmọ́ ìṣẹ̀dá. mímọ ìtara oòrùn láwọ̀ ara rẹ àti bí atẹ́gùn ṣe ń súfèé létí rẹ ìjọnilójú gbáà ni nítorí pé mò ń gbé pẹ̀lú ìṣẹ̀dá sì ń gbénú mi. Mo nílò mílíìkì tó kún fún dídára ìṣaralóore láti ṣagbátẹrù ìgbé ayé mi. Mílíìkì ọ̀hún ni Coast Milk. Torí náà, tẹ̀síwájú láti máa jẹ̀gbádùn ìrètí Coast Milk lónìí.
Coast Milk. It's in our nature.
If you have ever had to pay out of your pocket to repair your car after an accident, you know how painful it is, especially these days that money isn't easy to come by. Now is the best time to insure those things you care about, your car, house, businesses, and other valuables. Let Hares Insurance take care of the bill rather than spending your hard-earned money to replace or repair your valuables. If your property is stolen, Hares Insurance will pay to replace it. If there is a fire, Hares Insurance will pay to fix the damage. If your property is dented in an accident, Hares Insurance will take care of the bill. This is truly the best time to insure the things you care about. Call Hares Insurance, that is HEIRS, on 0700 434 7746 or WhatsApp chat on 0912 222 2200. You can also visit www.haresinsurance.com for more information.
When you think of fruit juice and all the goodness that comes in it, think Chivita. It is many years of trust, quality, and all the goodness of fruit poured into one lovely pack with no artificial flavors, colors, and preservatives, specially made for you. And there is more to choose from. Whatever your preferences are, there is a Chivita for you. There is a Chivita for everyone. So, what's your Chivita?
The holy month of Ramadan is here again. A month to submit to the will of Allah. A month to share, to care, and most importantly, a month of goodness. Start and end well with the goodness of peak milk at Sahur and Iftar to stay nourished every day.
Serve goodness this Ramadan with the delicious nourishment of peak milk every day. Ramadan Kareem.
Peak. Reach for your peak. Splash FM 105.5.
Okay, glad to know you're still tuning in to Splash 105.5 FM for Sports Bank this morning. And we'll continue with football discussions here. FIFA has removed Indonesia as the host of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup 2023. That was coming from a meeting held yesterday by the FIFA President Gianni Infantino and President of the Football Association of Indonesia, Eric Thohir. And FIFA has now decided that due to the current circumstances, they are going to remove Indonesia as the host of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup this year. But they're saying a new host will be announced very, very soon as possible, with the dates of the tournament currently remaining unchanged. There could be potential sanctions against Indonesia, but that will be coming later on. And the Women's Champions League, no club football, but of course the Women's Club football is still on. There were Champions League games played yesterday, and Barcelona Femenino whitewashed Roma 5-1 with an aggregate of 6-1, and Azizat Oshoala scored and assisted in that game as Barcelona confirmed their place in the semi-finals of the Women's Champions League. Arsenal women also recorded a 2-0 victory over Bayern Munich right there at the Emirates. That's 2-1 on aggregate, and that means that they're also through to the semi-finals of the Women's Champions League. And today we'll have games against between VfL Wolfsburg and Paris Saint-Germain, and we'll also have Chelsea women against Lyon. Chelsea have a 1-0 first leg advantage, but Lyon, one of the most successful sides in women's football, that's going to be a very, very tough one. But if there's any team who is in form right now, is absolutely Chelsea women, and they have this. They actually have the ability to ensure that they grind out a result and get it into the semi-finals of this one. In case you missed it, we told you earlier on about Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, who have now been inducted into Premier League Hall of Fame. And of course, lots and lots of plaudits have continued to come for both men and for all of the contribution they made to the Premier League. And also Tottenham, as the managing director Fabio Paterisi may have to step away from his role after FIFA extended his suspension to have worldwide effect. If you remember, he was formerly at Juventus, and he was given a 30-month ban from Italian football in January, but that was after Juventus were found guilty of false accounting, and now FIFA has decided to extend that ban to have a worldwide effect. What will Tottenham do? Well, Tottenham say they are urgently seeking further clarification from FIFA as regards that. Let's join our partners at the BBC for the BBC Premier League update.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. The Fulham manager Marco Silva and striker Alexander Mitrovic say they regret their actions and have both apologised to the referee after being red-carded in the club's FA Cup quarter-final defeat at Manchester United earlier this month. More details from the BBC's Fraser Dainton.
Mitrovic was sent off for shoving referee Chris Kavanagh following Williams' sending off for handling the ball. Silva's was for arguing with the officials. Mitrovic said, "I have accepted the 3-match ban for my red card. I have spoken to Chris Kavanagh to apologise and I have volunteered to accept a club fine." Whereas Silva said, "I regret what happened and I've spoken to Chris Kavanagh to apologise."
Meanwhile, members of Arsenal and Aston Villa's backroom staff have been charged by the FA with improper conduct for their behaviour after the Gunners' 4-2 victory in February. Villa's head of performance analysis, Victor Manas, and Arsenal's technical analyst, Miguel Molina, have until this Friday to respond to the charges. Tottenham's managing director, Fabio Paratici, may have to step away from his current role after FIFA extended an initial ban on him working in Italy and made it worldwide. Paratici was given the 30-month ban in January after his former club Juventus were found guilty of false accounting during his time as sporting director and managing director. With Spurs currently looking for a new manager to replace Antonio Conte, this is news the club definitely didn't need, as Patrick Geary reports.
Well, the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust today called the situation extremely concerning and said in a statement, fans deserve to hear a clear statement of strategy from Tottenham so they can be reassured by the board on their plan to bring success and stability to the club. Well, Tottenham have made no comment, but this will only increase the spotlight on their chairman, Daniel Levy, who's now got some huge decisions to make about where Tottenham go next.
And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, where do Tottenham go next? That's the question that I believe the next couple of weeks would provide answers to. And perhaps towards the end of the season, really, it will be interesting to see what Danny Levy does next, now that his football director and coach are out of the job. Okay, away from England to Spain, Ansu Fati's father says he's furious at his son's lack of minutes at Barcelona this season and he will be open to a move away from the club. Says, and I quote, "If it was up to me, I would take him to another team, but Ansu wants to stay at Barcelona. He does not want to sign for another club, but I want to see him succeed. As a dad, I am angry. Seeing Ansu play so little winds you up a little bit, and sometimes I think as a father, not a coach." Well, let's see what Xavi's response will be to that. And speaking about Barcelona, Gavi has reappeared on Barcelona for Barcelona on the La Liga's website after he was previously removed. Remember, he was unregistered and subsequently removed from La Liga's website after a court in Barcelona informed La Liga that Barcelona sent in the papers that previously allowed them to register the midfielder late. So does that mean that Gavi is now eligible to play for Barcelona again? Okay, maybe we'll find out this weekend when club football returns. But what are you saying on Facebook this morning before we leave? We're out of time, but Olutayo Balolu Arolo says, the Joshua vibe is gone. How he became this bad is a mystery. I hope for his sake that he doesn't lose his bout. Maybe he should dissociate himself from sports. Okay, says wish him the best though. Thank you very much for that. Ayobami Olaolu says Joshua should work on his boxing speed. Thank you. Venster says good job, Blessing. We hope AJ is able to win this bout. Otherwise, Baba should just call it quits. And like Chacha said, long may your smiles last. Amen. Thank you very much. Last saying there, Abib says well done from watching us from Bagini. Thank you very much. Ajibade Adigoke Nicola says, I pray Anthony Joshua wins this time. It is too early for him to retire. And final comments this morning from Ayeto McKinsley says, good morning, Blessing. It is good for FIFA to take the hosting right from Indonesia. Says, why would they say Israel will not play? I beg, FIFA should slant them with more years from international tournament going forward. And says, this is Arsenal's season. May our female team win the female version of the Champions League, and their male team wins the Premier League. Up Gunners, it says. Thank you very much for all of this coming this morning. We have to leave. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 for Winning Friday edition of Sports Bang. I am Blessing Fowowe. Au revoir.
Eléyìí fún Yakubu, èyí fún Rasaki, fún Ahmed, fún Aisha, fún Khadija, fún.
Brahimo, ṣé o tún ti tó oúnjẹ ni? Kí ni gbogbo oúnjẹ yìí wà fún?
Wò ó Taofeek, mo ti pinnu láti wọ inú oṣù Ramadan yìí lọ́nà ọ̀tun nípa pípín oúnjẹ sínú Peak yogurt drink pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi aláàwẹ̀.
Èrò tó dáa nìyẹn. Ìtọrẹ àánú